Amazing. Welcome to MaxWeb Video Podcast. I am so grateful to have all of you here. We have a super special guest today. I am not just excited to have Robby here because he's a wonderful human being. He happens to really know what he's talking about, especially when it comes to Facebook traffic. So Robby, thank you so much for joining.
Anna, thanks so much for having me. I mean, obviously, it's a pleasure being here. It's always good seeing you and talking with you. And I know when you asked me to be on here, I said, absolutely, let's do it. Because, the more people I can help out to, have success online, the happier I am. And obviously, the happier they'll be. So super excited to be here.
Thank you so much. Let's pretend we have a few friends on here that don't know what a huge legend and celebrity Robby is.
Oh my God!
Laughing, but it's true. So, let's pretend we don't know who Robby Blanchard is. So we are early. So spend a few minutes. I would love to hear just a tiny bit of your journey.
Oh my gosh. Well, yeah. I mean, I definitely am not a celebrity or anything like that. I'm just a normal guy. I put my pants on one leg at a time like everybody else, yeah, I mean, basically I started online about 6 years ago. Prior to that, I was just a gym owner. So I had a CrossFit gym. I actually still own the CrossFit gym. And I didn't know anything about, affiliate marketing. I didn't know anything about, MaxWeb or ClickBank or any of that stuff. Right. I just had a business, an online or a gym business, and things weren't great, right? It was kind of struggling, right? And the reason why I was struggling was because I went to school for exercise and sports science. That was my degree. And they taught you how to get people in shape, and they taught you about nutrition and everything, but they never taught you about how to get people in the door, right? And so when I built my gym, it was tough at first. It was tough to get people in the door because I was really good at getting people in shape, but I couldn't get people into the door to get in shape. So it wasn't until I found Facebook ads, right? So Facebook ads literally changed the course of my gym from being one that was really struggling to then that one that was succeeding, right? And so what happened was I did that, and then I turned my gym around, and then back in 2015 I wanted to finally start online. So I joined a mastermind on how to start an online business, and their first thing they told you to do was to create a product, right? An online product, digital product. So I remember doing that, and I created it. And I remember going to every single person in the mastermind, because back then it was all about email, right? So I went to everybody who had those big email lists, and I asked them to promote my product, and everybody said no. And they said no because first of all, it was not, my product was a CrossFit product. It was not a weight loss product. It was more of a skill-based product. And so nobody would promote it, right? Because they all had these big email lists that were geared towards weight loss. And so what I decided to do was, I got pretty frustrated, and I said, well, I'm just going to go and try to run a Facebook ad to my product, right? Because it worked for my gym, maybe it can work for this product. And so I did that. I'll never forget it. I set up the ads, went to bed, woke up the next morning, and I had 3 sales, right? And I couldn't believe it, right? And I remember calling my parents and saying, hey, did you buy my program? And they said, what program? I don't know what you're talking about. So I knew it wasn't my parents. So I knew that 3 people that I don't know in the world went on Facebook, saw my ad, clicked on it, bought the program, and I made money, right? And even though it was maybe $20 or something like that, to me, it might as well have been like $1 million, right? It was just like so many light bulbs going off in my head, like, because I knew if I could do it once, I could do it thousands of times, right? And that's what I've done. And so I shifted from having my own product and then promoting other people's products, because I found out that I was much better at just getting eyeballs onto people's pages and let other people do the products for me. And so I got pretty good at it, and I ended up becoming, number 1 on ClickBank, a little while ago. And I've, to date, I've, done millions on the platforms. And but the coolest thing for me is not my own success. The best thing for me has been able to give back and help literally thousands of people have success. I mean, that's what gets me excited. It's great to have your own success, but nothing gets me more excited than seeing other people succeed. And so that's where we are today.
And guys, for everyone joining, I mean, I personally can vouch for the fact that Robby is helping so many students. We are very proud of our reputation. MaxWeb has always been a place where affiliates can come, and we'll give them as many knowledge as we can, and especially we'll be very truthful. We love to always make sure they have offers that convert, or good payouts. And most important is that we are honest, right? So we would never invite anyone on the podcast that is not someone that actually, has proven that they can do this, right? And Robby, I mean, I have seen on MaxWeb, we have many affiliates that Robby has trained successfully. Mm-hmm. And I honestly have seen them go from, having a full-time job and doing this part-time to being able to quit their job and, be an affiliate full-time, which I really think is the dream. People focus so much on, buying a Lamborghini or having a Rolex. Yeah. But no, I mean, if you can do this full-time, I personally think is fantastic. And, I just wanted to say that, especially we have more people join. I really believe in you, not just because I like you, right? But I've seen it so many times. Yeah. And it makes me so happy, and now when we see, I'm one of Robby's students, I'm like, okay, he's gonna be good. Give him the good offers, right?
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, and I love what you said there, Anna, too. I think that, like you said, so many people focus on Lamborghinis and all this crazy stuff, and which is not really my thing at all. But honestly and truly, you don't have to achieve even that level of success to have life-changing freedom, right? Like even just making an extra $100 a day, an extra $200 a day. I mean, that's life-changing. And what's really cool is the fact that even on MaxWeb, you have offers that, essentially one sale, can get you to that, right? Which is, so we're not talking about crazy, out of reach stuff. And that's the cool thing about it. And for me, I've done a lot of different business models. I've done, e-commerce, and I've done, consulting, and I've had an agency. I've done all these things. But there's something special about affiliate marketing, right? There's something special where, it really is, there's nothing like it. And I think that's why I'm so passionate about it. And that's why I like to help so many people have success with it, because I really think it is, like you said, it is the dream. It is the goal. It's something that you really want to have, which is really cool. Yeah. Yep.
Awesome. So I have a lot of great questions. I think they're great. Hopefully,
I'm sure they are.
I think the same. I want to start with the basics, right? Mm-hmm. So you actually mentioned when you were telling us about your background, how you went online and you had your first ad, and you were able overnight to make those 3 first sales.
Yeah.
Tell me, at that point, did you have any type of training when it comes to Facebook ads?
No, it was pretty much all self-taught. I had done, taken some courses, and I, tried to, what most people do is they buy all these different courses and stuff. And, but for me, it was just being in the trenches and making a lot of dumb mistakes and, and figuring things out. That's really where I was able to learn. So no, I didn't have a ton of experience or training. I think that, the best training you can get is just doing it. Right. So that's what I did. Yeah.
Well, that's fantastic. And it's super promising to a lot of the affiliates that are just thinking about, getting started, because right now, we have a lot of people that do native and email and search, and almost everyone is like, okay, we want to try Facebook ads, right?
Yeah.
So let's pretend we want to give them A, B, and C. You want to start tomorrow. I would love for you to go and do A, B, and C. Maybe forums, maybe information, maybe ask a friend, really anything. Where do we start? Right now, we're focusing on the beginners.
Yeah, I think there's, first place you would start is going to be, first of all, choosing an offer, right? I think for me, that's one of the first things you want to do is decide what offer you want to do. And obviously you're going to go on MaxWeb to make that happen. And so when you do that, you're going to find the offer, and from there, you're going to reverse engineer it, right? So this is what I always tell my students, right? Is find the offer you want to promote first, and then work backwards, right? So you're going to find the offer. So say it's a weight loss product, right? And then what I'd recommend doing, as boring as it is I want you to actually watch the VSL, right? Watch the entire VSL and take a bunch of notes, right? And take down who this VSL is speaking about, what the ideal customer is, How old are they? Where do they live? Are they single? Are they married? Are they divorced? Are they looking to lose weight? What are the pain points? What are the hooks? What are the different things that get people into the VSL, right? And write those all down, whether it's on a piece of paper or online or whatever. Do that. And so once you do that, the next step you're going to do is you're going to start to build out, if you're doing Facebook ads, which is what I teach, that's my bread and butter, you're going to start to build your, your pre-sale page, your bridge page, your landing page, whatever you want to call it, right? For me personally, if you're just starting out, I would start out with a quiz. I think the quiz page is the best because, it's very easy to come up with like 4 to 7 questions. It's a lot harder to write a article that's like, very copy driven, that takes a little bit more skill. But when you first start out, take a quiz, right? Because you really can't mess it up that bad. And the cool thing is with a quiz, it's very easy to make tweaks to it, right? So, the most important question though is the first question. If you can get someone to take that first question, they're going to take the whole quiz, right? So make sure that first question is very curiosity based, something that makes people be like, well, why are they asking me this? Like, don't say, are you a man or a woman? Like, the example I always use is, for a question would be like, when you wake up in the morning, do you get up on the right side of the bed or the left side of the bed, right? And the reason why people are like, well, why are they asking me that? Well, if I get up on the right side, is that good or is that bad, right? So they want to go through the quiz, right? And then finally, the last part is to build out your actual ad, right? So obviously you're going to want to get set up with a Facebook account, business account, and then from there you would create that ad. Now with the ad, you have to pique curiosity, right? You're not trying to sell on the ad. Facebook is not a place where people go to buy stuff, right? People go on Facebook just to kind of, just do nothing, right? But people buy a lot of stuff on Facebook. So you just have to make sure you're very, social to the platform in the sense that you're piquing curiosity, you're telling almost a story. And then from there, obviously you're going to get people to click over. So I think it's so important to work backwards because I see a lot of people make the mistake of coming up with their ad first without even realizing what their offer is going to be next. And then what happens is a lot of people sometimes get good click-through rates on their ads, their landing page is good, but then nobody buys, right? And the reason why is because there's no congruency throughout it. So work backwards, and that's where you have more success.
I mean, you shared so much great stuff. I already made a mental note of this. On the quiz, right? Because I have seen a lot of affiliate partners use pictures or maybe a pre-sale. Yeah. But you're right, quizzes work incredibly well. Yeah. And do you use like a specific tool to, get ideas for the quizzes, or tell me a bit more?
Yeah, good question. As far as like a software, I use like ClickFunnels or any landing page software is going to work fine. But as far as the actual quiz questions, what I usually do is I like to get that first question to be very curiosity based because, once someone takes that first question, that's to me, every question someone answers on a quiz is a micro commitment, right? And so every, micro commitment we can get, eventually when they get to the VSL, they're invested in it, they're ready to go. And that's why you can get more people to buy. So that first question, curiosity based. Then you can do like question 2, question 3, question 4 can be a little bit more congruent to the actual offer, So you can say like, have you heard about this 2-minute morning ritual, right? Or, and then you also want to play on a little bit of emotion too, because all the VSLs, everything that these type of offers they're not, they're all emotional based, right? So people are making an emotional decision to buy that product based on the emotions they're feeling. So you want to kind of tie into those emotions with the quiz. But that's really what it's all about. And then at the end of the quiz, you want to have like your thank you page where it says, hey, thanks so much for taking the quiz. Based on your results, you qualify to watch this presentation, right? So we want to have a little bit of exclusivity to the presentation, and then also kind of give a little bit of a expected experience, which is like, hey, on the next page, click over to watch this short presentation, right? So at least they know going into it, okay, there's a presentation I need to watch, right? So little subtle things like that can make a big difference. Yeah.
Amazing. That's super helpful. How many questions?
4 to 7 is kind of the range. I tend to lean more towards 4 or 5. I think the more questions you ask, the more you can kind of lose people. So I think 4 to 7 is kind of that sweet spot. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. From and now I would love to figure out what type of offers, because you mentioned how important it is to make sure you choose the right offer, right? And we know if someone comes to us, we're going to know, okay, so these 5 offers, we know they're doing well on Facebook. But what if there are fantastic offers out there that might be doing well on Facebook? We just not, because we're going to be honest, we're going to tell you our affiliates have run this offer on native, looks amazing, but no one is running this on Facebook, right? So what type of categories or offers are you seeing as doing really well right now?
Yeah, good question. I think that, for me, I mean, the category that's always the big one is, the health and weight loss category. I think that's always like it's there's pluses and minuses to it. Obviously, one of the minuses is sometimes Facebook tends to give you trouble with the weight loss space. But the plus is first of all, pretty much everybody on the planet is interested in losing weight in some way, shape, or form. So it makes it a little bit easier to target and kind of dial in and get sales. But I think the big one is really focus on like categories that are just massive, right? I think we want to go mass market, right? Where, for example, like, the relationship niche. So if you have, if there's like dating products or if there's, relationship type stuff like that, that's one. Make money obviously is another type of niche. It's huge, mass market. People can relate to that, right? And then also I would say the last one obviously is health and weight loss, which is important. The reason why that's so important is because it kind of taps into our, they call it like Pavlov's hierarchy of needs, which is food, sex, and money, right? Those are the 3 things that everybody can relate to in one way, shape, or form and crave and want. And so by doing that, by focusing on those categories, that's where you're going to see the most results. And the cool thing is, like, when you find a winning offer and you have your winning copy and image and everything, when you start to scale up, but you'll be so thankful you have a large category because it's not going to slow you down, right? If you're in a very small niche, like when you start to scale up, you may hit that ceiling a lot faster. And then that just requires more testing and more creatives and stuff. But when you have a mass market product, I've had like 1 or 2 winning creatives and I can just go. Yeah.
That's fantastic. So you mentioned creatives. How important it is to work on new creatives all the time, or is best to stick with whatever has been working for you in the past? I mean, honestly, I'm asking you, how do you do it? Do you create new quizzes every week, or you kind of have a special formula and you try to go back to that?
Yeah, great question. So for me personally, the landing page, the quiz is something I don't test as much as I do my ads, right? So my images or my videos for my ads. And that's something that, I really recommend you test fast and test often when you first begin, because, one of the mistakes I see a lot of people make is they'll be like, oh, Robby, like I tested. And I'm like, okay, cool. How many images did you test with? And they said, oh, I did like 6 images. And I said, well, you haven't even started testing, so you need to test out more. And for me, I want to be in a position where I'm failing fast, right? Like I want to know what's not working just as much as I want to know what is going to work, right? Because if something doesn't work, I don't want to spend, weeks or months trying to figure that out. I want to know within a couple of days, hey, this is not going to work, so I can move on to something else, right? So for me, that's what I focus on there. So I'll test out a lot. I'll test out 30, 40, 50, different images, creatives, copy until I find that winner. And then what I do is I break out those winners into, kind of their own campaigns, and I focus on those, scaling those up. And then what I make sure I do is I always follow what I call the 80-20 rule, which is 80% of your budget should be focused on your winners, and 20% of your budget should always be going towards testing, right? Because this is a mistake a lot of affiliates make is, they finally find that winner or two and they're so excited and they think they don't have to do anything anymore. It's easy street from here on out. And then quickly they realize, oh my God, like my creatives are starting to die out. They're starting to not be as effective. And then they have to scramble to get some testing done. And it's like, don't do that. Just have some stuff testing at all times, and then always try to beat your winner, right? So if you have a winning ad, always have a couple that you're trying to beat, and you may find one that beats it and does better, and then get some more stuff testing and go from there. So that's my advice for that.
That's beautiful advice, because I honestly have seen this a lot, right? And this happens to very good affiliates. Facebook affiliates, you have a fantastic offer. It's gonna, it's going well. You have, I don't know, let's pick a number. Let's say you have 50 sales every day. You're comfy, that offer is doing well. Yeah. However, a week or 2, 3, a month into it, the conversion rate is gonna go down. Yeah. And times, the partners will reach out to us. Chances are on native, the offer is doing beautifully. And many times we do want to say, well, maybe we want to switch up the ads, but we don't know how to do it without giving them advice, because it's, we can't say, well, go and change your creatives, because we might be wrong, but I'm glad you said it, because it's important. And that can really bring back an offer for you. Because many times I've noticed when affiliates are struggling with an offer, having the conversion rate go down for a bit, the first inclination is to pick another campaign. And many times if you change the creatives, just the way, we have been very comfortable with native because we do a bit of that in-house too. So it's, many times with a new pre-sale on, Outbrain or ref content, we'll be able to switch things up. So I'm actually super happy to hear you say that sometimes just having new ads can bring the offer back.
Oh, for sure. And I think that, the perfect example I always give is that, most of the time the offer is not the problem, it's your creatives that need refreshing, right? And so, here in the States, I don't know if you have it where you live, Anna, but do you have Geico? Have you ever seen the Geico commercials?
Of course. Well, I live in the States for.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So Geico, right? So guys, this is the perfect example, because Geico, what do they sell? They sell insurance, right? They've been selling insurance for, I think, 100 years or something like that, right? So their offer has not changed, but guess what? Their creatives for the advertising changes all the time. You got the gecko, you got the caveman, you got the hump day camel, you got all these different ones, right? So the offer stays the same, but the front end, which is the creatives, are always changing, right? So you see them come up with new stuff all the time. And so you have to do the same thing as an affiliate marketer, right? Or their advertising, like your offer is probably fine. You just need to do a better job of rotating through your creatives. Yeah.
Oh my, I'm so glad you said that. So now I can tell everyone I told you so.
That's right.
Best feeling in the world. Now, on the other side, that's very important. We actually brought on a lot of our friends here to talk about the content side of things, because I know how important it is. And that was the next thing on my list here, to ask you, how do you get ideas for the content? Do you do it yourself? Did you hire a content creator? Tell me about the process, or how you find the best ideas.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, for me, it's, first thing I do is I always, once again, I go through the VSL. I always want to make sure I'm studying that, seeing what the unique hook is or the angle. Usually it's a ritual or a solution or a hack or something like that. So I start there. The other thing I like to do too is I love to do my research, and I use a lot of spy tools, and I like to see what's currently running on Facebook ads, and I'll even look and I have some spy tools that aren't even about Facebook. They're more focused on native ads. Even though I don't run native ads myself, I like to look at other platforms and see what's working on other platforms, because once again, I think it's so important to think outside the box, and because that gives you a competitive edge, where most people that run Facebook ads look at Facebook spy tools, where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna look at something else that nobody else is looking at. I'm gonna pull that over into Facebook, right? So I'm a big believer in not reinventing the wheel. When it comes to what you run on Facebook. For me, it's like, if I find an angle that through a spy tool and I can see that it's been working for a while, what I'll do is I'll have my in-house copywriter, and I'll have some other people kind of work around that idea and improve it and make it our own, and then we release that, right? So that's kind of what we do. So I think you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Obviously, you don't want to copy or, just take stuff away, which a lot of people do, unfortunately, especially in native. But, I definitely would, that's kind of the strategy I follow, right? So I see what's working, I see what offers are working, and then I put my own spin on it, and I try to improve it and make it better. Yeah.
I love it, because we always advertise how important it is to check what your competition is doing. It's not a sign of weakness, but it's really how we grow, and especially in our industry, where all of us, when we work together, we make more money for the industry, right? I always say that. But spy tools, tell me specifically some spy tools or your favorite ones that you use.
Yeah, so I mean, one of my favorite ones is it's called Social Ad Scout. So that's always been one I've personally used. They're more for Facebook. Another one that I've been recently testing out, which has actually been pretty good, is it's called Visto. Visto is a good one. They have a free version and obviously a paid version, but Visto is pretty cool because it does cover more than Facebook. You can actually look on some other stuff as well. But those are the two ones I really spend the most time on. I've done like AdBeat. I've done a couple other ones too, but those are the two I'm currently using right now with my stuff. Yeah.
Awesome. It's super helpful. I ask this a lot, and by doing so, we realize there are so many good ones out there. And we just last week, we had Attila, he's Das Native, and he helped us figure out that, there are very good spy tools out there. So
There are, yeah.
do you mind if we take a few questions from the audience while we go through everything? Okay.
Let's do it.
Beautiful. So we have this one here. It's a really good one.
Yeah.
Comment on moving and testing fast. Facebook suggests keeping the ad for at least 7 days to gather sufficient data. How does it work versus what you said?
Yeah, good question. And this is something that I hear a lot, like, where it says like, well, Facebook said this, or Facebook told me to do this. And I've learned over the years I tend to ignore what Facebook tells me what to do. And I make my own decisions on stuff. So for me personally, one thing I always teach my students is, for sure, at least let your ad run at least 48 hours. I think 48 hours is a good kind of, time to see some data, to see some metrics and stuff like that. 7 days, I think is too long. I don't think you have to go 7 days, especially once you, get a dialed in offer and your creatives and everything. Like, you're going to know, what's going to work right away. And I think that's important. So for me, I wouldn't do the 7 days. I would focus on, 48 hours or so, and then make your decisions, right? If your metrics are looking good, if your click-through rates are looking good after the 48 hours, but you don't have any sales, then, let it run another day, right? If you're at 48 hours and you're finding that, oh man, like it's just my metrics aren't good, my CTRs are not that good, then obviously you'd want to pause your campaign or pause your ad set and move on to something else. But for me, I'm a big believer, like, I don't really pay too much attention to what Facebook tells me what to do. Yeah.
That was a good reply, because while we love and appreciate Facebook, especially since we're live on Facebook,
Yeah.
the rules change so fast.
Yeah.
So, and I see this happening to brilliant partners like yourself, which is a nice transition into my next question. What do you think about the recent need to validate domains?
Yeah.
Do you think it's here to stay, like this new rule of validating each domain?
Yeah, I think it is. I think it is what it is at this point. The thing with that, here's the thing, right? Like I've been doing this for 6 years, and every year, maybe not even every year, maybe every month, there's always like a new thing going on with Facebook, right? And every single time it's like, oh my God, like this is the end of the world, like the sky is falling, And yes, I mean, obviously having to verify domains and stuff is kind of annoying, right? For sure. But it's not something that you'll ever, it's going to slow you down, right? I think that, if you're in this business and you're doing affiliate marketing, like you have to be a problem solver, right? Like you just have to know that you're always going to have problems, and you always have to find solutions to those problems, right? And that's the way you have to treat it, right? And so for me, like, yes, there's some more workarounds. You have to either use like third-party tracking, or you have to, if you're a bigger affiliate, you can get stuff, kind of verified pretty easily. But when you first start, you can use like third-party tracking. Like I think there's like AnyTrack is one, RedTrack is another one. There's a lot of softwares out there that can, kind of work around that. But once again, it's not the end of the world. And I think that, the one thing that I think it's actually a good thing, because what it does, I think it's going to thin the herd a little bit, and it's going to make people that, are serious about this. They'll keep pushing forward, and the people that, give up at the slightest sign of resistance are going to quit. And that's okay, because there's more room for me. But once again, it should not be something that slows you down or makes you unsuccessful. Definitely not. Yeah.
I agree. And I mean, I've just in the last few years since I've been doing this, we've noticed the rules changing, and you are right. And Robby said it beautifully. We have problem solvers. I mean, if you want to make this industry, we have a lot of positives, but if you want to take one important thing with you today, is definitely you want to be a problem solver.
Sure.
It's super important for us to not get freaked out by the new developments. I'm going to call them lightly, because it's going to happen, especially with Facebook and social traffic.
Oh, 100%. Like you just have to, you just have to go with the flow, right? You just have to realize that, like, at the end of the day, you're always going to have problems. Like, doesn't matter how successful you are, you're always going to have problems. And the goal is to go from having problems like, how do I make more money, or how do I pay my bills, and then having better problems, right? Which is like, how do I invest my money? How do I scale up my campaigns, right? And so, you just got to realize that problems are part of life, and the only people that don't have problems are dead people. So if you're not dead, then you're going to have problems, and that's okay. You just got to work around it.
Exactly. We agree. I mean, positivity always wins. That's my favorite. All right, Larry is asking, Facebook does not allow direct linking to affiliate offers, right?
Yes, I would say for the most part that is true. When I first started, the answer was yes, you could. But once again, Facebook changes, things change it, right? And so, so that's why, honestly, we use like the pre-sale page, the quiz. But here's the crazy thing is, honestly and truly, I find that even though we have to use a landing page now to kind of bridge the gap between the ad and the offer, most of the time your conversion rates are probably going to be higher, right? And the reason why is because it's no longer an abrupt change from, someone being on Facebook and just kind of like, seeing what's going on, then to like watch a 40-minute VSL, like that's a really abrupt change directly, right? So the important thing to remember, guys, is that people are on Facebook not to buy something. So we need to get their curiosity, get them onto the quiz, and then the quiz, by the time they answer those 4 questions, they've already forgotten that they were on Facebook, and now they're more focused on what you want to sell them, which is the the product that you're promoting. So so the answer is no, you can't direct link, but that's okay because this is actually better. Yeah.
You're welcome. That's a great one. I agree. Oh, we honestly advise the same thing, but we're obviously not experts. So I'm so glad you went through that with us. All right, now specifics. I love specifics. Sorry, it's more fun to just talk about the general stuff, but I know everyone listening, it's so helpful to know like the specific tools, or where do I start? In this case, I want to talk about money. Everyone hates that subject, but honestly, I would like to first focus on the beginners, right? What is the minimum amount? You still have your full-time job. You have a few $100 or maybe a few $1,000 aside. How do I spend that wisely? One campaign? Do I pick 3 offers? How much a day should I spend? Just in general, of course, everything is subjective, but in general, what should I do?
Yeah, it's a tough question. I think that I think you can definitely get started with $500, $1,000 as a a starting campaign budget. But I think that it's going to really come down to how much knowledge you have when you're using that budget, right? So if you're brand new, like if you were like I was 6 years ago, I went through $1,000 pretty quick because I had no idea what I was doing, right? I made stupid mistakes. I was running ads that weren't going anywhere. I forgot to like put the link in, just all these, little things that cost me a lot of money, right? Whereas if I actually took the time and like came up with my strategy first, and I just, or I learned from a course or YouTube or whatever, I think that would go a lot further with my money, right? Because I at least have a plan in place and I have an idea of what I'm doing. So I think it really depends, but I think on average, I think, $500 to $1,000 is definitely a great start. I mean, the nice thing about Facebook is you can start pretty small. So you can start, $20 a day, $30 a day, and get some good data that you can make some decisions off of. Native ads are a little bit tougher because you do have to spend quite a bit of money to even know if an offer is going to work or not. But for me, I think that's the nice thing about Facebook is you can start $20 a day and get some decent data on it. Doesn't mean you're going to have a ton of success and make thousands of dollars of that $20, but it's definitely a good starting point. So for me, I think that's important. And then the other thing I would say too that for the people that, because I get this question asked all the time, and people will say, Robby, like, I don't have a lot of money, like, or I don't have any money to run ads. Like, what can I do? And I would say get a job or get a part-time job. And I say that the nicest way possible because, like sometimes like you have to do what you have to do to eventually do what you want to do, right? Which is, and there's nothing wrong with getting a little part-time job and getting a side hustle where you can save some money and then start your campaigns. Like I think heck, that's what I did back in the day. So so that would be my advice. Yeah.
That's awesome. And that's very fair, right? Because it's terrible to tell people, well, quit your job today. You're going to be fine. You're going to make money with this. Well, especially in the beginning, and we advise our affiliate partners, we need to be pragmatic, right? Because it's going to be super important to have the first win, your first sale, and then consistent with having even one sale a day. That's going to be fantastic, because $100 a day, that's, it's helpful. So I'm glad you said that, because you do need, especially when you're starting with paid media, you do need a bit of a cushion to make sure you are able to test. Otherwise, it's going to be close to impossible.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Carolyn, Robby, when you were number one on ClickBank a couple of years ago and you made over $1 million a month, you have staff. Well, I'm going to really quickly mention, Robby is still number one. Now he's number one on MaxWeb and ClickBank and everything else. All right, now that we settled that. Did you have staff, or were you running everything on your own? Awesome question.
Great question. Great question. So yeah, it was pretty much me. I mean, I was a one-man show. So yeah, and that's the great thing about this kind of system and method, and kind of the way I do things, is that you don't have to have a big staff. And honestly, I wouldn't want to have a big staff, because then you have to deal with employees and all that stuff that goes along with that. So honestly, when I did that $1 million a month, it was just me. I did have somebody that put my pages together, but that was as far as like running the campaigns and getting into the trenches. I mean, that was me. I mean, so, and I still to this day run campaigns. And so yeah, so I think that's important. I think that people try to outsource too fast. I think that sometimes you have to like go through the steps yourself and go through the process yourself. And because I'm a big believer, like I'll never teach somebody something that I am not doing myself personally. So so for me, that's why I'm always kind of working on that. But yeah, I was a one-man show. Now I obviously have a little bit more of a team and some stuff, because we have I have Commission Hero, I have a whole stuff going on. So that's a big operation. So I need a team to to do that. But yeah, it's just and that's the great thing about affiliate marketing, is you don't need to have a big team or a big budget or a lot of experience when you first start. I mean, you can have incredible success. Yeah.
That's a really good question, Carolyn. And I agree. If you work super hard and you're determined, you really don't need a huge team. And, Robby is a beautiful example of that. That's possible. It's not just, a few people talking over a cocktail. I mean, we have someone in, real flesh and bones that can vouch for this. So awesome. All right, Jack, do you find the quiz lenders have a huge lift over a simple page?
Good question. I think that, this is a question I get asked quite a bit too. I think that both pages work well, right? I think that a simple page, we have a short little article, can be good and can definitely do well. I think that, but that takes a little bit of practice, right? I think that, writing that copy for that can either make or break you, right? So whereas a quiz, when you first start out, is much simpler to get going, much simpler to know what's working and what's not working, right? Because you may find, by question number 3, there's a drop off, right? So, okay, so question number 3 is the problem, or question number 4 is the problem, right? Whereas with the article, you're like, well, what is it? Is it this paragraph, or did I say this wrong? And that comes with practice. So I think that, initially when you first start out, a quiz lender is good. And then if you want to get technical, I think if you have a brand new pixel and you're running a brand new offer, I think a quiz is a better way to go, because people are going to be more committed to going through that question first of the quiz. And then once you optimize that pixel, you have enough sales on it, and it's kind of a little bit more smart and trained, then you can switch over to like a simple page where you'll get a higher click-through rate, but at least it's more targeted traffic. But that's getting a little bit more in the weeds there. But yeah, I think that either one are good, but I would start with a quiz lander first.
Awesome. What about if your video ad is the advertorial?
What if your video ad is the advertorial? I'm not sure I understand the question. I know that an advertorial will be like your landing page, right? So so if you had an advertorial, which is that, but your ad shouldn't be that long, or your ad should be very short. It should be short copy. It should have some type of curiosity-based image or video. It should be congruent for sure going over into your landing page. But I would say that would be my advice to that. I'm not sure I exactly understand the question on that, because I think you're talking about the advertorial, which is on your page. An advertorial will not be on your actual ad itself. But so there's a differentiation there. But I think if you're going to have your advertorial, that's fine. Just make sure that your ad is congruent to that advertorial. Yeah.
Right. I think what Jack means, just because I've seen this used by affiliates a lot. So you create the pre-sale, like the page, and you call it an advertorial with the information that's going to be in the video. But that's usually long, right? That's usually long because obviously to cover the entire video is not going to be just a few sentences.
Right. Yeah, that's a little bit long. Yeah, so that's the one thing you just got to be careful of. And that's why I think when you first start out, you got to be careful with writing that copy, because the one thing I try not to do is reveal too much information in my advertorial, because I still want that. Basically your ad creates the curiosity. Your landing page, whether it's a quiz or an advertorial, is going to cultivate that curiosity and intensify that curiosity. And people are going to be so curious, they're going to want to go over to the VSL, right? So if you give away too much, if you're like, hey, buy this product, blah, 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 like you just lost them, right? Because now, I got to buy something, right? Or, so that would be the one thing I'd be careful of. Advertorials absolutely work, but try not to give away too much information. Remember just to keep that curiosity going on the advertorial when you lead people into the VSL. Yeah.
I love that. And you mentioned this a few times today already, the curiosity aspect. Yeah. And I agree, that goes hand in hand with the content, and why it's so important for us as affiliates to really be aware of that. And, I just want to, circle back for a second. We started a bit earlier today, and Robby said something I want to share with all of you on how important it is as a first step to do serious research on your offer. So it's not enough to ask, your AM a bit on the description of the offer. Actually watch the VSL.
Yeah.
I mean, it's...
Yeah, watch it. That's it. And even honestly, and what I do too, Anna, is I also will, I'll literally do a transcript of the VSL sometimes. So I'll pull out a transcript and literally get it all printed out, and I'll go through it and read it as well. So that's another thing you can do too. So watch the VSL or get a transcript. Yeah.
Awesome. I love it. I agree. I believe we agreed, but what is working better for you? Long ad copy or short?
This is another one that people get caught up on, because people always ask, well, Robby, should I use, how long should my copy be? And it's like, well, as long as it needs to be and not any longer. That's always my advice, right? If your ad copy is short and to the point and piques curiosity, gets that call to action, you've done your job, right? You can certainly go into the long copy, but sometimes what happens is I find a lot of people, they get a little bit too cute. They get a little bit too fancy sometimes. They try to they try to overcomplicate stuff. And I think that at the end of the day, because you got to remember, Facebook, people have really shorter attention spans than something like YouTube ads or whatever, right? So you got to keep that in mind. And that's why, for me, I like to do, kind of a quick paragraph where it's just piquing that curiosity, telling a little bit of a story. And then the second paragraph is a sentence, which just has a little bit of a question where it kind of brings everything together. And then the third part is a call to action. And that's exactly what I do. And I think that, long copy works, short copy works, but I think that the shorter, when you first start out, the shorter it should be, because you'll avoid making silly mistakes.
Right. And I think you did say this earlier, I'm just repeating, you don't want to sell the selling points in the description. You want them to have the ta-da moment on their own later.
Exactly.
Alex, what incentive do you offer them to actually take the survey?
Yeah, no incentive. I mean, basically, because these offers are very emotional based, right? If we have a weight loss offer, the incentive is people want to lose weight, right? So that's a pretty big incentive for a lot of people, right? There's that people basically stay up at night, can't sleep because they want to feel better about themselves. They don't feel as attractive or whatever, right? So that's literally the incentive. And so I think it's important to realize that, and this is the other thing too, I say, Anna, is that when you advertise, you should never advertise based on how you feel. And you should never advertise based on how you buy, because listen, you're not, when I advertise for a weight loss product, I'm not going to advertise based on what I do, because guess what? I'm not a 45-year-old woman, right? And so you have to I know it's crazy, right? But you have to put yourself in that person's shoes, the ideal person. That's why you go through that VSL and you find those pain points, you find who they're speaking to, right? Because then in your copy, that is more than enough incentive, because if you are 45 years old and you've been hoping and wanting to lose weight, you just tried all these other things and you failed, and you come to an ad that tells you, hey, there's a solution to your problem that you've been wondering about, and you have to take this little quiz to learn out about it, obviously they're going to jump through that quiz, no problem. Yeah.
Awesome. So many questions. I love
Yeah,
it.
it's great.
Hi, Islam. I never use Facebook because of the huge amount of bans I hear about. Is there a way to overcome that, especially I'm a white hat person?
Yeah. I mean, it's, yes, there is, right? Because I think that, here's the thing, right? This is one thing that always kind of is funny when people first start. People say, well, oh my gosh, like I don't want to get shut down by Facebook, right? And here's the thing, guys, like, Facebook shutdowns happen, right? It doesn't matter if you're a white hat or blue hat, purple hat, doesn't matter what color hat you're wearing. Facebook at some point in time will probably shut down your account, right? Sometimes it's the bot over triggering. Sometimes they're making an update that caused shutdown. Sometimes it just happens, right? And so it's one of those things where, you can either, pout and get upset and cry about it, or you can just realize that that's going to happen at some point and be prepared for it, right? Like, I'll give you a perfect example. Like if you're driving your car down the road, right? You have four tires. You got four wheels. You got four tires, right? At some point in time, whether you did something wrong or didn't do something wrong, you might get a flat tire, okay? And so it's something where you can't be like, you're not gonna be like, I'm not gonna drive anymore again, right? No, you just get a spare tire, put it into the wheel that was flat, and then you go off on your way again, right? And so the same thing happens with Facebook, right? You need to make sure that you're set up for success. I tell my students that, like, get more business managers, get more accounts, get more stuff going, right? I think that's really, really important, right? Now, people will also say, well, Robby, you can only have one profile, like Facebook only allows that. And the thing is, guys, is that I've had a lot of conversations with Facebook reps, and if you ever say to them, geez, my profile is locked out, their advice is going to be, well, just create a new one, right? So even from them saying it, they're telling you to do that, right? And so I think that Facebook shutdowns happen. It's part of the deal. It doesn't matter if you're, doing black hat, which I personally don't do black hat or anything like that. Like, it's going to happen. You just got to be ready for it, be prepared for it. And if you do that and you have that mindset, that's a disposable asset, and that's all it's used for, you're going to be just fine, right? And so that would be my advice on that. That's, once again, that shouldn't be a limiting factor to having success or not having success. And the thing is too, like, every platform has their ups and downs, right? YouTube has ups and downs. Google will shut you down sometimes. So it's just, you just got to decide, like, hey, do I want to be successful? And am I going to let little things like this get in the way of my success?
Right. And, I'm so glad you said that, because we always have that, the grass is always greener, right? And we hear this a lot. I see it all the time. And I see it not just with affiliates thinking that product owners have it easy and product owners thinking affiliates have it easy. I see it between the different sources, right? Native affiliates think Facebook is maybe easier or better, or the other way around. And Robby is right. You're going to deal with complicated situations, no matter what you choose, because, in the digital space, you're going to have to go with the flow, and the only constant is change. So,
and I'll give you another example in it too. So, so back, I think it was it's just probably December 2018, November 2018. I was in a situation where everything was shut down. My profile was shut down. My business managers got shut down. All my ad accounts got shut down. And that was at the beginning of December 2018. And then guess what? A month later, in January 2019, I won the affiliate contest and became #1 on ClickBank, right? So in just a matter of a month, right? From being completely shut down to then doing that $1 million month and go on and so on and so forth. And it's changed my life forever. So you can't let little things like that. You can't, the thing is, like, you can't let temporary setbacks become permanent failure, right? And so you have to just realize you have to, you're going to have setbacks, and then it's your decision. Hey, am I going to let this hold me back, or am I going to push through this and move forward to success? And that really comes down to your own decision. But for me, I push forward.
I love it. What energy. I'm like, after this podcast, I'm going to learn how to do Facebook. I'm going to do that.
That's right. Yeah.
Amazing. Carolyn, how many profiles, ad accounts to 1 million a month? Ballpark.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. So, I mean, honestly, that was only one profile. But I did have a lot of accounts, right? So I probably ran from, I don't know, probably about 10 to 12 business managers at that time I was running from. And then probably, I would say account wise, maybe 10 to 15 accounts. And that's what you just have to do. Like, it's one of those things where you have to just, you have to have more of everything, right? I think that's so important to do that, right? Because you never want to be caught with just one of something when it comes to running ads on Facebook. You want to have multiple stuff going. So if, God forbid, one of your ad accounts gets shut down, it's not the end of the world. Like, you're still running, you still have 10 other ones going. And so, so that's ballpark where we were. Yeah, about there, but right around there. Yeah.
Awesome. Do you verify all your business managers?
I go back and forth. I test both. I mean, typically I do not initially. Verifying is one of those things where, if your business manager gets shut down, then it comes in handy when it comes to verifying. But for me personally, if my business manager gets shut down, I'm gone. I'm on to the next one. I'm not really going to worry about it too much. And I think that, that's the other thing too, is if I ever get something shut down, I don't spend, weeks being upset about it. I give myself, 5 minutes to be as angry as I want, and then I move on. Right. So, and that's kind of what I do. Yeah. So just 5 minutes, that's all I give myself. But, yeah, I mean, you can verify if you want. For me personally, I know it's not really that big of a deal to do it, honestly. Yeah.
Awesome. I'm not going to ask what you're doing in those 5 minutes. So
I'll tell you later.
And broadcast now. All right. Do you prefer image ads over 40-second video ads? I've noticed a lot of affiliates using like those small video ads, and Jack is right. Like, you don't have to sell with it. It's just like get the attention. In my humble experience, I've noticed a lot of the images and working very well, but I'll let Robby answer.
Yeah, I think Anna, you're right. So I think for me, both do well. Videos do well, images do well. For me personally, I think images are the better ones to test initially, because with an image, you're going to know right away, hey, this works or this doesn't work, and you're going to know why that is, right? Whereas with a video, say you have a 40-second video, that's probably going to be, I don't know, I'm guessing it, most of the time they're like a slideshow, or they're quick little clips. Say you got 5 clips in that 40 seconds. You're not going to know, like, was it clip number 2 that caused the conversions to go down, or was it clip number 3? So for me personally, I start with the images first because I want to see what works. I want to have a working concept. Once I have that working concept, then I can go ahead and create a video off of that concept, and that tends to do a lot better. So that would be my advice there.
Awesome. Really good questions, Jack. I love it. We have all our friends here watching. So, and
Nice.
you know how our industry is. Everyone is an introvert. So I'm so proud when people are asking questions, because I know everyone is actually super excited to hear your reply. So thank you guys for going out of your comfort zone and asking. All right, Sydney, when you create a new profile, do you delete the old one?
No, I just keep it going. I mean, basically, with a profile, for example, if I'm using one, or I created one, and say like the advertising gets restricted or something like that, I'm just gonna let it be. I'm not gonna log in again. It's once again, these are the purpose of having these is just to run ads, right? I'm in the business of I don't really use Facebook so much to do social media stuff. Personally, I'd much rather just play golf. But for me, it's like, when I use Facebook, it is for the purpose of making money, right? So that's exactly what I do. So yeah, I don't delete them. I just kind of let them be and just let them hang out in Facebook, forever. So yeah.
Well, this is a personal question. Not personal. I'm personally curious about it. How many campaigns do you run? Like, how many offers, not campaigns, because that can get confusing. How many offers do you pick? 5 offers that are doing super well, just 1, maybe 10. How many offers should we run in, a specific
Yeah, great question. I mean, so, when, for me personally, if it's just me running stuff, I like to focus on one offer at a time. Even back when I had that, that $1 million month, and I've done, a few of those over the last few years, but, every single time it's always been with one offer, right? It's always been with one offer. And I think that, that's a misconception where people think in order to make more money, they have to do more things or promote more stuff. And it's actually the opposite. You should be doing less. You should be focusing on one traffic source, one offer, one method, right? And that's what I do. I mean, obviously now that, I'm starting to kind of build a team that can run some stuff for me, we're going to, do more offers. But even those people that are running the ads for me, they're focused on one offer, right? Because that's you have to focus on one offer, because otherwise it's just too much going on. Your attention is in too many places. And so, I don't want to get like mediocre results across the board. I want to hone in, let's focus on one offer and scale it up. And that's why, with a mass market offer, like a weight loss offer, man, you can have that one offer and scale it to some crazy numbers, which is awesome. Yeah.
I agree. And I mean, I'm personally seeing this a lot. Most of our super affiliate partners, they'll pick a few different campaigns, but never a crazy amount. It's never going to be 20 offers at the same time, because it's very hard to manage. You get burned out, and if you want to make a lot of money, it's more important, from my humble experience and what I'm seeing super affiliates do, to work on the creatives. So, Robby said it earlier, the 80-20 rule, right? Yep. So that doesn't mean you have to run 8 big offers and 2 small ones, right? Because we misinterpret that a lot. I see it as, spend 80% of your energy on, running your offer, and then 20% on testing new creatives. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily every day testing new offers. It's super cool to test new stuff, but, focus on making sure you make money from one big one.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's important. Like the number one goal is, as an affiliate marketer, is to make money. Like I hate to say it, but that's true, because like otherwise, why are you doing affiliate marketing? So I think that, because a lot of people get all distracted, right? They're like, well, I want to start my own product now, or I want to do this, or I want to do that. My advice is always like, well, just focus on one offer, make a bunch of money, and then do whatever you want. But make some money first with that one offer, and that should help you out a lot. Yeah.
I love it. All right, Dana, let's see. I have some success with traffic campaign converting in large audience settings. Do you recommend using traffic campaigns for conversions?
Yeah. So, I personally do conversion campaigns for conversions. I think traffic is fine in the sense that you can get some cheaper clicks, and because that's what Optimize is for, is just clicks going to the landing page or landing page views. But at the end of the day, my most successful campaigns were, my bread and butter, what puts food on the table is conversion campaigns, right? So I think traffic campaigns are great to test your creatives and to see if you get like a really good click-through rate on your ads or your copy and stuff. And that's great, because you can test out, pretty quick. You get a lot cheaper clicks than conversions. And then once you find your winners there, you can switch to conversion campaign and do that. But for me personally, I'm more on the team conversions.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, if Robby is on team conversions. All right, Don, do you prefer ABO or CBO when you start testing the new offer, and why?
Yeah, good question. So I personally love ABO, right, which is ad set budget optimization, as opposed to campaign budget optimization. The reason why I think that is, once again, I like to have control of my campaigns, right? And so, with a CBO, it's definitely great. Once you get things dialed in, you have enough data on the pixel, and you're starting to do that, you can certainly go to a CBO. But the problem with CBO sometimes is that obviously Facebook favors some of the ad sets more than the others. It basically decides for you which one it thinks is doing better. So for me personally, I love to go ad set budget, and I think I'd like to do ad set budget more as well, because for me personally, I'm able to scale up a lot faster because I can duplicate out those ad sets. Whereas with a CBO, it's a little bit tougher. You have to increase 20% every other day, or you can try to go 50%, but sometimes that can, just knock it out of whack, kind of just knock it out of its groove there. So for me, I tend to go ABO, even on mature campaigns that are doing some good numbers, I'll still do ABO, just because, I like to just continue to test out new stuff and duplicate out of there. So hopefully that helps you out, Don.
That's awesome. Again, thank you guys. Fantastic questions. Well, someone asked earlier, and I intentionally left the question for the end because I do want you to have some time to answer. Someone was asking if you do any mentoring. So for people that don't know this, Robby has a course. We made it a point that he's not trying to, we're not trying to sell that to anyone. But I've noticed that so many people do need help, and while we have a lot of free resources out there, it's good to know that there are options, right? So tell me a bit about your course and what do you do with your students?
Yeah. So basically, I have a course. It's called Commission Hero, and essentially, Commission Hero started back almost. Well, it'll be 2 years on April 1st. It'll be 2 years. So, which is crazy. And during that time, we've helped just over 9,000 students have success online, which is unbelievable. And the crazy thing is, it's not just a little success; it's like a lot of success. And so we've had, students get their first sale. We've had students get their first $100 day. We've had some students do $1,000 day. Last year alone, we had 7 students hit 7 figures. We just recently got a letter from another network, which obviously ClickBank, which we both love ClickBank. But ClickBank actually surveyed 1,015 of my students. They found that those 1,015 students they surveyed generated $26 million on their platform, right? Which is unbelievable, right? Which averages out to like $25,000 per student. So we've been able to do that and be able to help a lot of people out. And I think that it's been unbelievable. And the cool thing is actually, I think we're doing a workshop together too, Anna, pretty soon where, we're actually going to be sharing a new kind of upgraded version that I think you guys are going to love, which has some really, really cool software and some tools that are going to help automate stuff because just with Commission Hero, which is awesome, don't get me wrong, but it's a lot of more manual work, whereas we've kind of automated some stuff here. And I'm excited. Like at the end of the day, I think that, it's so important right now to double down on having an online business and double down on having success online because the world has changed, right? Everybody is online now more than ever before. I mean, schools are, universities are, the normal stuff is not normal anymore, and you have to kind of adjust with that. I think having an online business is so important because, Anna, like I told you recently, like I have my CrossFit gym, but my CrossFit gym in 2020 was shut down for like 6 months, right? Like not open because we couldn't be open. So, thank God I have an online business to keep going forward, right? Because if I was just a gym owner, which is, there's nothing wrong with that, I would have been in a much more difficult situation, right? So I think it's so important to learn a skill and put in the work now and put in your reps now because it's going to pay off in the long run for you guys. I mean, I'm living proof of that. So yeah, so we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna do that workshop together, which I know you'll post and send an email out for all that stuff. But I definitely expect everybody to be on there because we're basically going to break down the whole case study of how people have that much success. We've got some really cool stuff. We're working with MaxWeb on everything too. So yeah, I'm excited. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
I'm so grateful and so excited. So if you don't mind, besides the workshop, we're going to add like the Commission Hero link in the comments, just in case we hear, because we might have new affiliates that are looking at this later on. And it's just important. We always love to provide access to, there's a lot of free stuff out there, and then there are a lot of courses that I really think help. And I'm super grateful we're going to do the workshop soon. That's going to be incredible. And, for medium-sized affiliates too. And, we have super affiliate partners that used to do very well on Facebook and now they're struggling. I think the workshop is going to help, a lot of different size affiliates, if that makes sense.
Oh, for sure. 100%. Like I think that you're not too small and you're not too big to learn something. I mean, I think that's so important. And then even for me, like even at, at the level that I've been able to get and be fortunate to be at, I'm still learning. I'm still, buying courses and joining masterminds. And, I think that at the end of the day, you have to always stay humble and you have to realize that, it can all go away in an instant, right? So you have to just always push forward and stay humble and don't take yourself too seriously. And that's important. So yeah, I think that you definitely jump on the workshop because we're going to be covering a lot of stuff. And I think people are going to get really, really excited about it.
I love it. All right. One more question. I asked Joel asked earlier, and that's going to be, do you duplicate winning ad sets or increase budget on the one ad set?
Yeah, the answer is yes. The answer is yes. I do both, right? So I tend to duplicate that winning ad set out. So I'll duplicate 3 to 5 times or so at that original budget just to see how it does. And then later on, I'll duplicate at higher budgets per ad set. At the same time, I'll also vertically scale that ad set. So if the ad set is at $20, I'll go up to whatever it is, $24 for the 20%. I'll do that every other day. And sometimes, I find that you may get to a point where you increase the budget vertically on an ad set. You do it twice and you may find just vertically scaling more is just not going to get it to where it wants to be. And sometimes the other advice I would give too is if you scale it up vertically, say you go like 2 notches up and you find it starts to have like some diminished returns, don't just pause it, scale it back down a step and see how it does, and then scale it back down a step and see how it does. Sometimes it'll kick back in a groove. So yeah, so I do both. I duplicate and I vertically scale.
Awesome. That's good question. Good reply. Okay, you guys, we have Robby here for over an hour. I appreciate you, Robby, so much. Thank you for being here.
Of course. Yeah. Thanks for having me.
We'll have the workshop we were telling you about soon. And thank you for watching our video podcast. We are going to have the links if you want to listen later. Spotify, Google, Apple, whatever you want, we have it. Robby, I appreciate you so much. And we'll talk soon, very soon.
Of course, Anna. Well, hey, thanks so much for having me. It's always awesome talking to you, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to be here. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you so much. All right, you guys, have an awesome, awesome day.